Yeah, bro. So, I mean, hey, we're going to skip all the formalities because you've been on the fucking show enough times already, bro. You're like my number one guest.
I appreciate that.
Besides being my fucking guy. But, yeah, nah, we're kind of taking like a little leave of absence. You know what I mean? We're taking a little leave of absence because let's be true.
Okay.
The idea of her moving here or me moving there is a tall order for either one of us.
Okay, actually you getting into something deep right now because go ahead, continue, and then I'll elaborate on why. Because let me just I'll just put the preface out there. Like, I really don't talk about like my love life or anything of that nature, especially with my stream. But I might touch on some things tonight just because you're talking about this and it's relevant to like my life, low key. Okay. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead, dog.
So yeah, there's that. Like, you know what I mean? And it's a tall order, bro. Like, I know what I'm asking because I know I am fit to ask this of her because I know what I could give. Right. And I know what kind of lifestyle that she wants. Mm-hmm. I can help provide that. You know what I mean? Not only like physically, like, you know what I mean? Like physically, fiscally, emotionally, mentally.
Physically, this man said, okay.
But
let me find out Pudge is putting it down.
Boy, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it's a tall order. And before me, there wasn't a lot of space in between some of her past relationships.
So no grieving, no reflecting, no things of that nature, just kind of hopping onto the next boat.
Well, not only that, I think it's easy when you have a culture of men, right? When they meet a girl, guys, listen up, because stop being pieces of shit.
Facts. That's factual, bro. Like, straight the fuck up.
They're pieces of shit. Now, her ex-boyfriend, I never had anything to say about him. Never. And
you shouldn't, bro. It's not your place.
He ain't got nothing to fucking do with me, bro. And now
like,
there was a different ex-boyfriend, right, who's a family friend.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, I'm going to have to meet this guy one day. Mm-hmm. I would love to meet him, right? Like, if he's that type of person in your life, I would love to meet him.
Which is big because me knowing you and what you've dealt with some exes and their significant others, like, that's a complete 180 from where you were at before. So, like, but I mean, granted, you stepped up in that situation and we chatted about that before, and you stepped up in that situation, and I applaud you as a man in that situation because honestly, there's not enough, room in this world for us to hate on people like that. solely based off of a woman's, like, for a woman's standpoint. You had more reason than just that, but yeah. So the fact that you said that you want to meet this cat is I'm behind you with that 100%.
But so from him to me, there just wasn't a lot of space, right? And so when there's not the space for reflection. And now this is my thing, right? And this is what I want to drill home to the guys: is if your way into a girl's heart is by demeaning another man, then you're a shit. Mm-hmm. Facts. And that is doomed. Matter of fact, she's texting me right now.
Hello?
Hey, bro, you can break up with me, but you can't leave me alone.
Well, okay. So on what you just said. Like, I, in my opinion, I feel like a true man, a man of honor, per se, right, is going to, like, not even have to say anything about those types of things because just your actions alone are going to just show how much superior. I don't want to say superior. That sounds so demeaning, but it just shows how much better and that person can achieve. So I agree with you 100% on that. If I have to hate on somebody else to impress you, then it's not even worth my fucking time. Not even worth,
bro.
And there's so many fucked up things going on in the world right now that I could put that type of energy towards, which I don't believe anybody should put that type of energy towards anything. But but fuck that, bro. I'm with you 150%. But here's the real question: whose idea was it?
It was hers.
And okay, so and that's kind of leads into where the fuck I'm at in my situation.
What you got going on?
Not that I was even in not that it's even a situation, but it's just all right. So, like, only one person from my stream knows this, and it's Jordan, because I talk to that motherfucker all the time about everything. And I'm gonna be a little like mysterious and secretive on some of the shit that I say. But there was this young lady that I was chatting with, and I met her. I met her when I was on vacation for my birthday, and bro, the vibes were immaculate. Like, not even on a sexual thing, just like conversation on conversation on conversation on conversation. And we agreed to like keep chatting, but it's an East Coast thing and a West Coast thing. And it's like, same thing that you said. I'm not leaving California. I'm not leaving San Diego because my child is here. You know what I mean? And I have to provide for my son. And I know that if you weren't working in Florida, you would be the same way. Like, you would be with Elijah all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And then, a transfer away from family from the East Coast to the West Coast is tough. Like you said, a tough order to fucking follow through with. So, but it was cool, FaceTimes on the regular, chatting all the time, shit like that. But then, bam, your boy got just straight ghosted. Like, not even a fucking warning came out of it. And mind you, this was like 2-3 months of chatting, bro. And like effort, but just ghosted. So at least you got the love of, hey, I kind of got to go through some shit, which is probably this young lady's thing too. She probably had to go through some shit, but it goes back to the communication aspect, man. And the fact that you guys had that communication is fucking strong. And we always, typically when you and I chat together, it always revolves around communication with friendships, relationships, parenthood, things of that nature. So yeah, just the cycle continues and it's crazy. The crazy thing is, Jordan said 3 months, 12 days, 9 hours, 36 minutes, and 41 seconds. That boy was counting. But that was like a big step for me, dog. Like a huge fucking step, because I've been single for a long time, like a long fucking time. I don't really have space or time for to entertain. But it was just, I don't know what it is that I gave it my chance. But that right there just kind of showed me like, okay, let's take a step back and continue in our put your head down and work forward, move forward on what you need to do. But I'm not gonna say that this young lady ruined it for every other woman in the world, because I thought the last young lady ruined it for everybody in the world, and then I found this one. But yeah, man, it's just I low key think that your boy is just meant to just be alone, and I'm okay with that. And I've talked to a couple people about this before, that you got to be alone, man. It goes back to what you were saying about your old lady, is that it just allows reflection. If you're jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping and jumping, you can't really appreciate what you have, because I'm blessed in what I have, but it's also what people have given you. Because even the relationships that ended horribly, bro, you have so many fucking memories with those people, and they've been great. There was a lot of great moments, you know what I mean? So that point of reflection is so fucking important. So important.
Bro, and I look at it too, it's like I would rather, and I feel like the toughest ones are always the ones that end on good terms. Those are tough, because even if you try to explain this ex to a future girlfriend, those are the ones they're going to worry about the most, because it's like, you have no reason to hate her, right? Like, you have, and let's just say
my son's mom.
You feel okay? So
I know exactly what you're on, bro. And my son's mom, just even mentioning the fact that I'm good friends with her scares people away. ASAP. They're like, oh, what? You guys take your son to SeaWorld together? Like, well, I don't want to step in the middle of that. And I'm like,
so it sucks because I'm gonna put it on wax. Because I even told her too. I was like, yeah, like, you know, because we're talking and shit, and it's just like, you know, I'm trying to say everything I can say, and I'm because bro, all this happened within the past few days, right? Mm-hmm. And even though this has been like an ongoing conversation for like the past month, like what's really cracking off here? You know what I mean? Like, let's get to the nitty gritty. I think those are the toughest ones, right? Because again, trying to explain it to somebody else, all this shit. But what also blows is that it's like, of course, because it's ending on good terms, like I hate, and I'm just putting this on wax because I told her, bro, I just hate it because she could hit me up one day. She could hit me up one day on a Thursday afternoon at 2:45 while I'm.
And you're gonna be right in your phone like this.
And my heart's gonna fucking drop, dude. Like, you get what I'm saying? My heart's gonna fucking drop because I had bought tickets to go there to visit like a few months back. I bought these. Right?
I was supposed to go on a trip too, bro, last month.
You hear me? And then
I was supposed to be in New York last month, bro.
Bro, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And so she's like, yeah, you know, after that, like, we need to really, like, just stop. Because we still text, we still call, we're still on the FaceTimes and shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I think this is just good for anybody who listens. This is good to hear because these are normal motions to go through. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, now I'm kind of going through this motion of like about to hit this point, and then I'm gonna have to say bye to this person.
Yeah, but honestly, though, bro, like, that's kind of where you got fighting for. Or do you have to just understand where she's coming from and be like, okay, the only way that this is really going to work in giving you what you want, and the reason that we're no longer going to be, quote unquote, together is because you need to reflect and you need to go grieve and do all this shit. So I got to, like, cut you off. At least for like a month or two where it's like straight up no contact. And after a month of no contact or 2 months of no contact, if you really feel the same way that you feel, then go back after it. So that's kind of like where you guys got to decide what it is that you want to do. Do you guys just not want to be together because of space? You know, because of the different coasts that you guys are on? Or is it like, okay, now I'm kind of just being strung along here, you know, it's going to save your heart more at the end if you just cut it off. If that's what the ultimate goal is for her to grieve. Not saying cut it off forever, but, you know, if you feel that strongly, then maybe you have to kind of go all in and be like, you know what, I don't think we should take a break. And I think that we should work through it and kind of just bam, you know. And Sly is right. Sly says that, you know, women really don't understand the power that they have over men when it's like, we've already divulged and spent all this time together, and you guys have, you know, even the physical aspect of things, you know. But even when it reflects back onto the fact that it was if you didn't have a physical aspect around that relationship, and somebody still feels that strongly for you, I mean, it's not just, you know, there's something else there, in my opinion. You know, like you didn't just do that for no reason.
Yeah, we'll see. Time tells.
But I wish you all the luck, bro, with that, because I mean, my chat and I were kind of chatting about it after the last podcast and just saying how happy you looked and how not that you don't look happy now. I know you stay happy, bro. You know, there's very little times where I've ever seen you upset or sad, and you know, those emotions do come, but you're like one of the people in my life that I rarely ever see that from. And that's why I love hanging around with you and I love chatting with you, because it's always light, you know, it's always light.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. I'm telling you, you're like, I think you are the most reoccurring guest on my fucking show. Anytime.
You know, I try, bro. I try. And I love chatting with you, man. And it's cool because sometimes I'll ask my community, like, hey, what do you guys want to see Putch and I talk about? And they'll be like, you know, we just like when you guys go with the flow. And the fact that we can see each other and this is all recorded and people can watch or listen in, And that people have to understand, like, this is genuinely how we talk to each other. Like, it's not even us putting on a show for the podcast or anything like that. Like, even when we call each other, or even when we would kick it together in the 805, this is exactly how we chatted with each other. And yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. I'm glad the friendship continues to grow, and I don't ever see. I love you too, brother. I love you too. Now I know that we were chatting earlier when we were texting, and I know that you said you wanted to talk about the Chinese hot air balloon or whatever the shit was. But honestly, I'm going to be completely truthful with you. I don't know shit about it. And I know I typically am in tune with all the stuff that's going on politically, but the only things that I know is that China had some fucking balloon that looked like a paper mache fucking thing floating around here, and it got shot down like hours later. That's all the fuck that I know.
Well, yeah. So I was gonna ask, because I don't know, dude. Like, I've been trying to stay out of all of that because it's just gotten too hectic. You know what I mean? Like, especially me being on the road, bro. Like, you know, I shoot the shit with people, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm right here just joshing around, but then you start, you know, they've had a couple beers in them, and so you hear some shit come out their mouth, and you're like, oh, you really think like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you really think like that? And so, one way or the other, I don't know, because shit's been hectic because of like COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
First it was COVID, then we moved immediately into like this whole war thing with like Ukraine, you know what I mean? And so people are just kind of like scampering right now, like, you know what I mean? Like, just scampering. And I know we always used to talk about like not even on the political tip, bro, but like with this whole shit, like, do you think people are about to get more? Do you think people are going to be more divisive or more together on stuff now? Because really what it looks like, either whether they're faking it or not, right? Because some people are saying, oh, it's a hoax. They're trying to say it's a hoax, bro.
I'm sure they will, bro. There's conspiracy theorists everywhere. It's like what we it's like what we fall into, you know. But kind of to answer that question on how I feel, unfortunately, our country, it's mostly our country. We live on that, on just being divided, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And we continue to divide ourselves, even us, like our generation. We continue to live our lives divided, and some of us don't even do it on purpose. You know, it's like I was having this conversation the other day, and it's like whenever a certain race or type of people have to announce themselves and say like, oh, this business is owned by this type of person, or this business is owned by this race of person, like that creates division in a sense, you know. Now I understand that it's about empowerment, which it can be, but at the same time, there's certain people that don't view it that way, and they view it as an attack, or they view it as, quite honestly, racist, you know, especially like, I'm not saying that this is racist, but people could take this as racist, as like, oh, black people should only support black owned businesses. Now, I understand the context of that conversation, but some people could view that as racist, you know, because you're only empowering your race. Which is big. You know, we should love our cultures, we should love our race, and we should love the bodies that we're in, but at the end of the day, we're all still people, and we should genuinely love and support everybody, especially those that want to do good, and those people that have good in their heart as well. And you know, even the people that don't have good in their heart, we should still love them, and because at some point that can reverse the way that people feel, and they've never been loved before or felt loved before. So genuinely, they could change the way that they are. I mean, I know that I wasn't a hateful person, but I wasn't always as loving as I am now. And you know, through mentorship and things that I've gone through in my life, I've definitely flipped around a lot and love a lot harder than I've loved before. But yeah, man, so the world is just going to continue to be divided no matter what. Even if everybody in the world got everything that they wanted, there will still be find a way to divide each other. If we were all the same color, had the same eyes, had the same facial hair, had the same feet size, had the same height. Like if all that was the same, we would still find a way to hate on each other. Somebody runs faster. Somebody talks different. Somebody's fingers are longer. Like I'm dead serious. This country will always find a way to continue to be divided until something big happens. And then like when that young man, the football player, when he went down and fucking died on the field, everybody came together. But now that he's okay, now everybody's divided again. Nobody gives a fuck. And the sad thing about that, and I was talking to my brother about this, is that young man like really had a GoFundMe page going for something that he really believed in, and he had only raised like $2,500 or something like that. And then as soon as he dies, quote unquote, dies on the field and goes to the hospital, his GoFundMe went to like $8 million. Mm-hmm. So why are we waiting until motherfuckers get hurt to support them? That's how it makes us as human beings feel better. Like, oh, I feel bad now that you're gone or went through this traumatic experience. Oh, let me come back and show my support by supporting something that you believed in for all this time. And let me show you that I actually support it. Like, that's fucking bullshit, man. It's such bullshit. And
honestly, like when you get stuff like that, it's, I heard somebody say it, and it was fucking profound, but it's like the dues of all the days of their unappreciation or something like that, right? But it's the dues. So they come, they donate to the funeral, they bring food, they fucking donate to the GoFundMe, they donate once you're gone. They write these long sappy posts about you when you're gone. You know what I mean? Instead of picking up the phone while you're still here. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, bro.
It's been hard. It's been like, cause I'm watching it, dude. And I don't know, like, I feel like with some of the changes to Twitter and Instagram, like, I don't know if it's just my feed or what the fuck my algorithm is doing, bro. But I've been getting I've been seeing that shit everywhere. Like the weather balloon and this administration saying that, and these are saying this. And it's like, dude, who gives a fuck what's going on? All we need to know is that there's some foolery afoot, and we need to band together because somebody is fucking around out here, dude. Like, why are we doing this? Like, we need to knock it the fuck off. Like, they locked us down in our houses, bro. The government locked us in our fucking houses. Now, whether it was a good idea, bad idea, all this is up for debate right now, right? Like,
it will forever be up for debate, bro.
Well, dude, I mean, like, because I guess now this I have seen was that there's been more and more reports of evidence showing that there was fuckery, right, with COVID.
Oh, for sure, bro. For sure.
Whatever. It's a social experiment. I don't know. I don't fucking know, dude. Okay.
Like, how many of them can we kill and keep in the house?
But yeah, they played it dirty by locking us in our fucking cribs, dude. That's dirty. That was shiesty. That was like, you got us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got us. Freeze tag. We played freeze tag for a year with the fucking government. And so, I don't know. I just feel like we've been through a lot. There's been a lot going on, right? Like, protests and fucking places getting burnt the fuck down and this and that, and like, everybody, let's just chill for a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I told you we got burned down right here, bro. Literally 2 freeway exits away when all the BLM protests were going on. It literally happened 2 freeway exits away from me. So right here on my corner is the El Cajon Police Department. They were ready for war, bro. All of downtown El Cajon, like right here where I live, literally a block away where I go eat on the weekends. Everything was boarded up. Everything was ready, bro. We were in the house strapped up, ready to go in case somebody wanted to fuck around and find out. But, you know, it got fucking nuts. And I think a lot of that, I know what the protests were about, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that motherfuckers were stir crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't sit and reflect during COVID. You know, we were getting fucking paper, and these motherfuckers were paying us to stay in the house, and we couldn't wipe our ass with the right shit because there's no toilet paper. You know, like I had, you know, some motherfuckers had to eat top ramen the whole time because no food places were open. You know, but it's funny because I was just talking about how COVID changed me last night, and COVID fucked me, bro. It fucked me, but it progressively got better. like when COVID first happened, it had been my first time in like 16 years not working.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they tell me that I gotta stay in the house for 3 months. Okay, so I'm chilling. Started just fucking drinking all the fucking time, and and then I started realizing like, oh shit, I'm in a dark fucking place, man, because I'm sad and I have nothing to do because I don't go to work. Like what the fuck do people that don't work do? What the fuck do they do? Get drunk and just sit in their sorrow and misery, like, and
dude.
Yeah, but now after what is it, 3 years now since COVID? Next month will be 3 years. Man, like you cannot get me out the house, bro. I do not like, and you, bro, especially when I was in Ventura, I was out every weekend. Either if I was not at a session with you, I was in downtown Ventura at the bars, going to Rookies or fucking Watermark, whatever other places we went to down there. But yeah, man, like it goes back to the reflection thing, just sitting down and realizing how much we have to cherish what we have and enjoying the space that we have. I love living alone. I fucking love living alone so fucking much. If I started dating again, I would be like, okay, you live at your house and I'll live at my house for 3 years, and you can spend the night at my house like once or twice a week, and I'll spend the night once a night or twice a night at your house. And then if we could continue like this for 2 or 3 years, then maybe we can move in together.
Yeah. I think too, like, seeing that's like one thing, bro, really, where, I'm in a new apartment here in Oxnard.
Oh, right? Congrats, brother.
Thank you, bro.
I don't know if you could tell, but I moved too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I was about to ask, where'd you move to?
So I had the house in the front, and I actually moved into the back house. So we converted the garage into like a 1-bedroom studio. So I moved back here because my landlord who lived in here, him and his wife wanted a bigger place. And he was like, I can't afford to buy a new house, and it's just you living up there. Like, let's just switch. So I was like, all right, bet. This is more my style anyways. It's more intimate, more just this is where I should be at. And I love it. I mean, it takes me a little while to get used to the fact that my stream setup is in my bedroom now, but I love it, bro. I love it. It's more my style. I didn't need all that fucking space, man, especially with just me.
Yeah. I've been kind of looking at this apartment here recently because when I got it, I had the idea of all of us in here. You know what I mean? And then now it's like, I might downsize. I might downsize after this lease. But work's been going cool, so that's why I've been.
Oh, that's another thing, bro. I started a new job.
Oh, I don't
know if I told you. So I work for Charter Communications, but I work under the Spectrum tree. So the cable and mobile and internet company. Bro, it is. Putch, when I tell you that I am so happy with my life right now, like as I sit, I don't remember the last time I felt like this, like light and just carefree and enjoying myself. I mean, I've got some shit going on in my life that I gotta handle, but who doesn't,
Absolutely.
But it's legit probably the best job I've ever had in my life.
Sales.
Yes, of course, man. Can you see me in any other fucking field? Can you see me in any other field besides sales?
No.
But I mean, as far as like benefits, I it's not the pay that I used to get, but we move on from that. And it's not that I can't move up and get back to where I was at, but just the vibe and environment of this place is amazing. And everybody, I was just talking to my coworker this morning because we carpool to work, and he's, bro, that man is a blessing. I appreciate him so much. He's helped me out so much, and I couldn't be more appreciative for him. But we were chatting this morning, and he was we were talking about how we're not like upset that we have to go to work, and we don't see, because I work in a call center. I work in this big ass building, and we never see anybody that's not happy to be there.
That's good.
I've never worked at a job where people seem happy, and it's because if you come in at 9 o'clock, you got to be in at 9 o'clock. If your lunch is at 1:00, you have to clock out at 1:00, and they're like, "Hey, you better take your full fucking hour." If you're off at 6:00, motherfucker, clock out at 6:00 and get the fuck out of here. So the work-home balance is really nice, and the pay time off is dope, and they give you voluntary time off, which they pay you for, and I mean, they pay you more for working on the weekends. They pay you more for working on holidays. It's just, I've never worked at a job like this, and I'm very happy. And let me tell you, bro, if it's anything like I've been seeing how it is, your boy's gonna be a dog there, because they have no idea what it's like to actually sell. From what I've seen, they have no idea what it's like to actually sell. And when a motherfucker is like a pit bull and latches on and it's like, you're gonna buy something from me, and that's always the mentality that I've had. But I do it in a nice way, and I'm just ready to blow the fucking ceiling off of this place and just show out, bro.
Commission sales on places like that are good. I used to work at Frontier, bro.
Oh, okay.
I used to work at Frontier, so bro, I mean, come on. And this was after Acura, all that shit too. So I'm like, what? Like, you want me to sell them internet? Like, okay, like, that should be.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing about I'm inbound sales, so the motherfuckers are calling in to set up services. It's not like I'm sitting there cold calling people and like, hey, you guys want to buy internet? Like, these people are already calling in, so they're already in a good mood. It's just I gotta sit there and have a conversation with them. I would say the hardest thing about the whole situation is just figuring out the whole computer side of it and plugging in orders and shit like that. But we're young, we're millennials, we can figure that shit out easy.
Yeah, the plugins that they had at Frontier was like, why is this so complicated right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why am I having to dig through this and the codes and this and that? Like, bro, update your tech, fam. Like, to me, especially with those phone calls inbound, like these. See, I don't know how they do it there, but Frontier, as a sales rep, you handled sales and customer service. Now, supposedly there was a sales strictly team, supposedly, but I sat with those dudes a few times, and like when I was first starting, and they were getting service calls. You know what I mean? So I guess it just all depends on the day or whatever.
You know what they tell us about those? They're like, if you get a service call, transfer. we don't have to deal with that shit, dog. I'm not young. I'm not dealing with an 80-year-old woman that's like, my internet's not working. I'm like, okay, let me get you to somebody that can help you.
Quickly.
Yeah, bro, I can't fucking wait. But the thing that kind of sucks about it. So this is my last week of a 4-week classroom setting, and it's dope, man. Like, my whole class, we all get along. We're celebrating somebody's birthday tomorrow. We sat outside and had a picnic and fucking played board games. We have a big ass group chat together and we're just fucking chatting with each other. So we all get along great. But now we transition into 8 weeks of infield training. So taking phone calls and stuff like that. And it's just like we kind of getting thrown to the sharks, and we got to take live calls and just be like, okay, let's see if what we learned really helps, which again, okay, so Monday is my first, we call it IFT, it's infield training. Monday is my first day of infield training, which fucking sucks because Sunday is the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Eagles are playing.
And the Eagles are playing, bro. And I work at 9 a.m. And from my crib to work, there's typically like 45 minutes to an hour worth of traffic. So I cannot show up to work hungover. I gotta make sure that I wake up because it's my first day. And if I'm trying to show out, if I'm trying to be like win some awards and shit like that, I'm gonna probably stick to like 6 beers during the Super Bowl, and everybody's gonna make fun of me because they're like, "Yo, your team's playing the Super Bowl, you're not getting drunk." I can't, bro. I have nobody to wake me up.
Hey, you think they're gonna do it?
Let's just say I hope so. I have a lot of very good faith in this team this year, but I don't want to speak on it too early and be like, and then people reflect back on the podcast and be like, "Oh, I thought you said they were going to win." Of course, I'm confident in my team, and a lot of people are giving us a hard time about getting how we got there and shit like that. But man, people always want to talk shit when they're sitting on the couch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And dude, like the the Eagles had an amazing regular season.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Amazing, right? And
everybody's saying that it was too easy though, and fuck them, bro. We played against one of the most winning schedules. Like the teams that we played were all winning teams, pretty much.
Well, I think it's one thing to say that they're bad teams, but let me see you go out there for 16 weeks and smash.
Have the same record.
Yeah, and smash full clip into a pro NFL football player and tell me you don't hurt. Tell me it doesn't fucking suck. Tell me, like, it's like, dude, it's cold and it hurts. Like, you know what I mean? Like when their face mask smashes into your shit. Like, so don't tell me that, bro. Like getting to the playoffs is getting to the fucking playoffs. I don't care if you limped in or fucking bulldozed your way through. Like, you know what I mean? Getting in is getting in. Fair and square. They got in fair and square. And I mean, bro, who was it? Who was it? Dallas that they fucking smashed on?
Man, fuck Dallas, dog.
Bro,
no, it was the Giants. The Giants, and then we played the Niners. Which, okay, so hold on. All right, since we're talking about football, let me just say this, okay? Everybody was like, "Oh, the Niners this, the Niners that. They're gonna fucking." One of the young ladies in my chat, she's a Cowboys fan. She said, "Hey, now."
Sorry.
But. Now, people were talking about the Eagles-Niners game, right? And I was looking forward to it. We're playing the number one fucking defense. We're playing a young rookie quarterback who's won fucking like 8 games straight. This, that, the other. It's hype. I'm excited. I'm nervous about the game. I'm thinking to myself, whoever wins this game is the person that wins the Super Bowl. So if you're asking who I think is going to win the Super Bowl, there's your answer. But whoever wins the NFC Championship wins the Super Bowl, right? And we go in there. And we fucking sacked the shit out of this quarterback and injured his ass. And then now everybody say, oh, if Purdy was playing, it would have been a different story, this, that, and the other. Okay, let me get some shit off my chest real quick. First of all, who the fuck have the Niners really played if our defense was able to get to your quarterback like that and injure him on his third fucking play of the game? Mm-hmm. And we scored like, I think it was 31 points. On the number one defense in the NFL. How are you going to tell me that my team had an easy fucking win? They were the number one defense in the NFL, and we scored 31 points. Mm-hmm. And you scored 7 points against our defense. Granted, you were using a backup quarterback, but hey, that's football. It is what it is. Next man up mentality. You got to be able to fucking make sure that the puzzle pieces fit when they all get falling apart. So people, fucking Niners fans and football fans that all say that game would have went different had Brock Purdy been playing. Sure, it would have went different. But guess what? Had he been playing, we probably would have sacked his ass like 5 more times.
Yeah. And, hey, stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly.
I think it's an 80-20. So for athletes, right, I get it. Get paid money. Get paid your fucking money. But show up Sunday. You got the jersey on, show up. Like
man. And that I was talking to another football watcher the other day, and I was talking about Adrian Peterson and Arian Foster, those 2 running backs. Mm-hmm. When they scored touchdowns, there was no big celebration. They weren't jumping around. They weren't fucking jumping in the stands and shit. It was like that was their job. They accomplished their job. Okay, let's get ready for the next play. And I get the celebrating and I get this shit and that shit. But at the end of the day, like, that's your job, bro. Do you think fucking McDonald's workers get happy when they fucking make a McDouble? No. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And you get paid millions and millions of fucking dollars to do this shit. Get your ass back on the field and get ready for the next play.
Yeah, like, get off the fucking field already, dude. There's some, I get it. Like,
there's some sick ass plays. Cool. Some shit should be celebrated, but motherfuckers don't need to be showing out. I get it. You know, it's
Donald Driver. That was a dude. Donald Driver, Green Bay. When they played at Lambeau, if he scored, he would jump into the stands. They called it the Lambeau Leap. He'd do the Lambeau Leap, right?
Still do it. Yep.
That's sick as fuck. That to me, that's cool, right? Because it's a home game, dude. You know what I mean? These are your fans.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, some shit I get. Some shit I do get.
Iconic, fam. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, there is some stuff, bro, where I'm like, you know, because you got to look at it at the end of the day. Like, there's kids at these games You want
and they're having fun. You know, they're able to fucking live their life playing a game that they wanted to play since they were children. You know,
yeah,
like that's
and
that's
it's like,
dope.
there's some of these dudes, bro. They're 25, right? Let's take like Mahomes. He's like 27 years old, right?
He's 26.
Yeah, he's 26 years old, right?
And his contract is $500 million. He
Fam,
carries himself very well, though.
and he's probably been playing football though for at least like 90% of his life. Like,
you know what I mean? You know, like Mahomes' story, right?
No.
He was actually a baseball player too. And it was either he goes to the MLB or he goes to the NFL, and he chose to go to the NFL instead of going to the MLB. There was MLB teams ready to draft him into the Major League Baseball, bro.
I think he did get drafted.
Did he?
There was another quarterback, I think, who actually had got drafted at one. It might have been Russell Wilson, but there was some. I need somebody to be like Googling this as I'm fucking saying.
Can somebody Google if Patrick Mahomes got drafted to the MLB?
Somebody fact check this.
Fact check. He actually, so with that $500 million contract, once he signed that, he actually bought a portion of the Kansas City Royals baseball team.
Okay, I think that's what I heard then. There was something though with him with the MLB, I know for sure. Because
Russell Wilson got drafted into the MLB.
Oh shit.
Wow, look at you, bro. You know your sports.
I do a little bit. I do a little.
You know your sports, bro. I'm a little surprised by that.
A little bit. I know some shit. I remember watching Russell Wilson's last game at fucking where was he at? Wisconsin or I think he was at Wisconsin. It was like
college game. You watched him play a college game?
Yeah, I watched him in college. He blew it, dude. He did a Dak Prescott. Fucking was trying to rush him to the line and spike the ball, and he ran out of time.
That's a man's career that is really sad to watch go downhill. That man right there. You know, that man was on top of the world for a long time. Married a very beautiful woman, had kids with her, did everything right. People clowned on him for being abstinent until he got married. But, you know, he played the course and did things right, and then went to Denver, and his career just, you know, hopefully Sean Payton can go in there since he's going to be the head coach now. Hopefully Sean Payton can go in there and change that man's life because Russell Wilson needs it right now, bro. From a sports standpoint, he fucking needs that shit. That poor man, that poor fucking man.
And I think too, a lot of people sleep on Sean Payton's defense.
Bro, that man is just he the way he sees football is absolutely insane.
Because didn't he somebody fact check it.
Here's another fact check.
I'm almost positive Sean Payton he had gotten suspended because he was doing headhunting. He was having the defense headhunt.
Was that Sean Payton or was that Tom Coughlin? I think it was. Yeah, that this was when what the fuck was that defensive player that was on? Was it Darren? No, it wasn't Darren Sharper.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Sean Payton. I think it was when Darren Sharper was on the team.
I want to say he was.
There was somebody else. Yeah, but you're right. I do remember that now. That was a long time ago. It was against the fucking Patriots that he got found out on that shit. After the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, it was after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And years later, bro, they fucking had the investigation, but the NFL buried it. Like they just buried that shit.
They do with a lot of stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they do with a lot of stuff. I mean, think about all the shit that was going on with Gruden. Remember all that shit when he was saying racist shit or whatever the fuck. Honestly, okay, I'll talk about the Gruden shit now that it's buried. But those emails were sent in you know, like privacy. You know, the fact that somebody wanted to be a hoe and leak those, not saying that what he was saying was appropriate or nice to say at all, but you know, those they were in, you know, confidentiality. Like don't be a hoe and leak that shit just for your 5 minutes of fame. And nothing even happened to Gruden.
Yeah.
You know, so it's if somebody trusts you with some shit, you gotta really lock that shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta really lock that shit up.
And I get it, like trying to like maybe there's this whole thing that's starting to go on and it bothered you so, and it's been festering, and now you say enough is enough. Here's my moment, right? Let's just take that. Right. Okay, but at the same time, like there still has to be a consideration. It's like, dude, I told you that in privacy. You know what I mean? Like I thought this was a place where I could let my worst ideas come out, right? Because I feel like to an extent, like, bro, matter of fact, when I seen that, I was like, we've lost all touch with like intimacy on the level of like, I'm telling you something when I'm at my worst. Like, this is my worst.
Oh my God, you're so fucking right.
Like I'm coming to you right now, and this is where I need to let it out. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, you know, like, homie's wigging out. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you think as men that's harder?
Yeah.
Now, okay, so do you think that it's harder as a man to do that with a woman, or do you think it's harder to do like with your guy friends?
I think it's harder for us it's harder for us to do it with other men, but it's more detrimental when we do it with other women.
Oh my God, you couldn't have said that any better. Now, bro, it because it gets used against you, right? Absolutely. See, if I mean, that's why you gotta surround yourself with the right people, in my opinion. But if you tell a dude that you're going through some shit, you know, you're already prepared to hear like, oh, stop being a bitch, or like, get over it, and this and that, and wooty woo, la di da da da. But you know, I agree with Jordan. Like, I talk to my boys more than I talk to women about shit that's going on with me. And my boys tap in, they check in with me all the time, just because they know, you know, they know what my mental is like. But sometimes I'm very hesitant to tell women about what the fuck is going on with me. But I think that comes from a standpoint of like looking weak. Mm-hmm. And we're more so taught that. I think we had a conversation about this. Like, it's a cultural thing, right? We're more so taught that through culture, through our fathers and things of that nature, to not look weak. But we're moving into a time where weakness is, you know, they want that, but women don't really want that shit. Like, let's be real. No woman wants a weak man. They want a sensitive man, but they want to make sure that that sensitive man's ready to throw down when it's time to fucking throw down, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
a masculine man. No woman wants a super masculine man until it's time to lift something fucking heavy, right? Lift fucking something heavy.
Now we getting controversial.
Okay. I said it, right? It's either fucking lift something heavy or fight off a fucking intruder, right?
I forgot. Actually, Jordan just reminded me about this. We 2 weeks ago, I got drunk and I watched this. What was the video about? It was about masculinity, and they had like a full panel. They had like a trans person on there. They had a couple gay people on there. They had like very heterosexual men on there, and like God-fearing men that were very religious, and just talked about masculinity. And I completely forgot about this, but yeah, I had this whole conversation with my chat about all this shit. That's where the culture shit came. But yeah, man, it's fucking. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. You know, I agree with you. But there are some women that still want masculine men.
Yes,
it's just how masculine. Like what? Okay, I guess I'll ask you. Like, what makes a masculine man?
Well,
what is masculinity?
Right. So now this is a better question for people, right? That I think that we need to start asking. Everyone's so concerned about what makes a woman a woman. That's y'all figure. How about y'all figure that out and then come tell me, right? I'll wait on that answer. What we need to figure.
I'll wait on that answer.
I'll wait on that, dude. So I know, right? Because I'm just not trying to offend nobody, bro. So you tell me how I'm supposed to know when you know, and when everything will be good. Masculinity and femininity,
femininity.
Femininity. Yeah.
That's a fucking funky word.
they're one and the same. You have to have both, right? And I think they counterbalance each other by the masculine, right? Is our masculine urge to do things that are hard, right? Like laborious things. Right?
I don't know. Masculinity kind of like makes us want to breed too.
Oh, for sure. That's the entity. That's the entity part. The male entity and then the female entity, that part makes us horny little fucks, dude.
Okay. I'm trying to follow you here. Okay.
All right, you get me? So the masculine and then the femme, right? Okay. The femme is the feelings, dude. It's the fucking
feelings. So feminine means feelings. That's what you're saying?
Yes. I think a more feminine man will cater to a family in a much different sense than a masculine man will, right? Like let's take a uber masculine and uber feminine. Uber feminine, right, is going to be way more attentive to the details of what's going on inside the tribe, right? Inside the tribe. That's where the motherly instincts come from.
Wait, you're talking about feminine men.
So feminine men. Yes, I'm talking about feminine men.
So we're not talking about men and women anymore. We're talking about just men.
We're talking about the I am no longer concerned about what makes a man, that conversation, or a woman.
Okay.
Because now we're talking about genitalia.
I think we're talking about a little bit more than that, but okay.
Right. But femininity,
okay,
versus masculinity, right? This is something that lives inside of us undoubtedly. Because you can have a masculine man or a feminine man. Or you can have a super masculine man that shows his feminine parts, right? Depending on what the situation is, right? Like the dudes who are super burly, but they know how to get super romantic with their fucking chick, bro. Like do the whole rose petals on the fucking floor, candlelit dinner. You get what I'm saying? A super masculine man is going to throw a TV fucking dinner in front of her and say bon appetit. You get what I'm saying?
So you think, so just to clarify, you think that an extremely masculine can't be romantic? If I'm picking up what you're putting down, that's what you're saying right now.
They can be, but they can be super masculine, but they're still in touch with that feminine side of them. You get what I'm saying? Because there's super masculine men. I get
what you're saying.
So there's super masculine men. So like it's more opposed to the idea that like there's like you have these two things, bro, and it's always in some kind of balance within somebody, right?
Okay.
And the problem that you have is the dudes who are masculine who have lost touch of everything that's happening over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody who's over here who's lost all touch with the over here. You get what I'm saying? Like that's why, I think that's why so many people were so taken back by the feminine movement, right? Because we're like, whoa, where did this? Like, first off, where did this word even come from? What is this word? And then you start hearing all these things. And so I think people were just super out of touch with what was going on with our women, how they felt, all these things. They were just super, super fucking disconnected for whatever reason, whether it's the patriarchy or toxic masculinity. I don't fucking know.
Toxic masculinity. Okay. That's a funny one. That word always cracks me up. But
the toxic masculinity is what I would say is a dude who's just super masculine and has lost all touch with what it is to be feminine. Right. Like,
okay, so I will say I kind of agree with you, but I disagree with you like a lot more than I agree with you. I think the concept that you believe in is similar to a concept that I believe in. Like I don't believe in masculinity and femininity in a sense of like measuring, because I believe that I'm super masculine. Like I believe that I'm a very masculine man, but like I could be fucking romantic if I need to be. I think it more so comes down to, excuse me. I know Jordan said earlier, like hunter-gatherer type of thing. And I think with time has passed, I think it's more of the way that I would put it is more nature over nurture, right? Like when I think of feminine, I think of somebody that is nurturing. I think it's somebody that is,
absolutely,
like a motherly figure that's able to nurture and teach and really provide comfort. I think that as men, this is where I agree with you. As men, I think that we also are able to create that type of comfort zone, not only for for the women that we love or our loved ones, but also for like our friends and things of that nature. But I don't think masculinity is more of like a burly fucking dude who's eating liver and all this shit. Like, I think that adds to their masculinity, sure, but I think masculinity is more of a mindset and what you're capable of doing and what you're willing to do. You know, like if you're willing to make sure that your kids eat and you're not eating, like,
ooh, so would you say? Because, bro, I will say this. Now tell me if you felt it. Is I don't think I've been as in touch with the femininity that lives inside of me since becoming a single dad.
I think that makes you more masculine. That's just the way I look at it. Because what's that?
On one side, though, because on the other side of it, bro, like, and I was telling somebody this was like Elijah changed my capacity for love.
Oh, absolutely. Kids will absolutely do that. But let me ask you this, okay? So if Elijah wants you to sing and dance and fucking do this kind of shit while you're out in public, you're going to do it. I was actually literally just having this conversation. It wasn't about femininity and masculinity, but it was something along these lines. If your kid wanted you to sing and dance and be playful and shit, and you're in a crowd full of people, you're going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do it no matter what, because the only thing that you care about in your heart is making sure that your son is happy, right? Mm-hmm. I'm the same way, dude. I don't give a fuck if my son wants me to sing Disney songs with him or Baby Shark. You know, he doesn't like Baby Shark anymore, but I don't care if my son wants me to sing Baby Shark. I'm singing that motherfucker at the top of my lungs. Now, every fucking word, bro. I'm doing the dance and all types of shit. But like you're saying that you doing that is showing a feminine side of you. Me personally, I think it makes you more of a man to do that. Like that's more masculine because that's your cub, right? Like that's you birthed this. You're showing the nature of love to your young one. That makes you, in my opinion, that makes you more of a man than anything. Mm-hmm. Way more of a man because you are caring for your child.
That part, yes, but there's been a part on an emotional level, right? Like that, especially in the beginning. Like, I mean, bro, crying to go see mommy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
And then having to get down on this emotional level with him and be like, baby, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? And like, there was points, bro, when you're just holding him and you know, like I would try to put him down and then he's like crawling back in my lap. And it's like, okay, like there was very, very other tender times, like I guess, where I realized like, oh, I'm showing him a father's love. Right. Mm-hmm. And
a father's love though, right? A father's love.
A father's love.
So you can't say a father's love with femininity involved in that.
Absolutely though I can. Absolutely though I can.
See, I think the concept that you have in your head is that like femininity means soft, right? Like if you're a man and soft, then that makes you feminine.
No. Because what I'm saying is in this conversation, there is no separation. There's no separation. There's no separation. This shit is living. It is an energy that is inside of us. Sometimes it's just a little askew, right?
Less masculine.
What do you mean?
Are you saying more feminine or just less masculine?
Yeah, and either way, it tips both ways, bro. That's where you get tomboys. You get what I'm saying? That's where you get tomboys from. Is these girls, they're feminine.
Yeah, but now we're talking about girls.
So for a man, right, we're going to have feminine energy, right, at any given moment. That's why we're not just out killing each other. Because if we're acting on masculine impulses at all times, bro, we'd be fucking murdering each other at all times.
I don't think so,
bro. Would be.
Do you consider yourself a man, like a masculine man?
I am a masculine man.
Okay, I'm a masculine man, right?
But I am very in touch with the femininity that lives inside of me.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that I'm feminine. Like I don't believe that I'm feminine. Am I caring and loving and appreciative of people? Absolutely. But like I said, in my opinion, I don't believe that that's adding femininity to my structure of life. I believe that makes me more masculine to be caring, to be loving, and to be understanding that, like as a man, right? And if I like the way your pops was, and I know that you come from a native background, right? And the way my pops was and is, and fucking comes from a native background in Mexico, and like you're taught to fucking protect and care for under any circumstance, right? Mm-hmm. And if that circumstance means getting to that level of nurture over nature, I don't think like I said, I think that boosts your masculine levels. I don't think that it boosts feminine levels at all. Because the way that I'm kind of understanding it from you in not so many words, it's like, because when like we literally were just talking about how it's easier to talk to our boys than it is to talk to women because we care about our people. Mm-hmm. But what do you hear sometimes if you're talking to the wrong people? Oh, you're a bitch, you're this. So now it's like, okay, so now I'm talking about my feelings and that makes me a bitch. That's a negative condescending thing to say about that, talking about your feelings. So is me talking about my feelings make me feminine, or does it make me more masculine for understanding that I can talk about my feelings because I hold these feelings inside of me? Because if we're talking about masculinity and we're talking about protecting and only being God-fearing, I should have no fear then to talk about my feelings. I should have no fear then to care for my kid the way that he wants me to care.
So you not having any fear to speak on your feelings because of God. So the sin is with the people casting the judgment, right?
Sure.
So we've had judgment casted on people saying, because some people look at it as it.
And I'm not religious, by the way. I'm just saying, like, when I mean God-fearing man, I mean that there's nothing in life that I fear.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So there, even at that, if there's nothing for us to fear, then cast a stone on the man trying to talk shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not us for being who we are. You know what I mean? Some people will believe that masculine energy only exists inside of a man and feminine energy only exists inside of a woman. And I have a hard time coming to terms with that. I have a hard time.
Energy is different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I'm not saying that I produce more masculine energy. I just am more masculine because I am a man. That is the sole concept of masculinity and femininity. Women are feminine, men are masculine. Like that is what it is. And it goes back to what Jordan's saying is, how do you define masculinity and femininity? And in my opinion, the only way that I can solely answer that question is the division between nature and nurture. I'm not saying that a mother is not going to do everything in their power to care, that they're not going to do everything in their power to care for their children. It's just the care and teachings are different between men, what men teach their kids and what women teach their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the full concept. That is why you should have two parents, and that's why a man and a woman make a baby, because the concept of masculine and feminine teaching together. That there's your scale right there, mother and father. That's the scale of masculinity and femininity. That's like, you need both of those in order to create a decent, loving human being, in my opinion. Like, I don't believe that men and women carry both. I think it's just the concept of what we think, right? Like, daintier or soft-spoken makes you more feminine. And why do we think that? Because women are feminine. They're usually more dainty. They're usually speak softer than men with, empowering voices. Masculinity makes you, quote unquote, stronger. You know what I mean? Like, that's where the concept of masculinity and femininity come from. And if anybody ever asks me, can you define masculinity and femininity? I will forever say it's the division between nature and nurture. It's the reason why women are the ones that have babies. It's the reason why men are the ones historically who have worked more dirty jobs, per se. Like that's the division. That's where it comes from.
So would you consider a female plumber more masculine?
No.
You'd consider her more feminine?
I would just consider her a female plumber. Like, I don't believe that the job that you have makes you any less feminine or more masculine.
That's fair.
That's like saying, would you say that a UFC fighter is more masculine than you?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Because they fight?
That type of profession takes a certain type of man. That takes a certain type of man who says, on a day-to-day basis, I am going to go out there and get socked in the face, full clip, and go home and do it all over again.
You don't think that comes from a psychological standpoint?
There is definitely some psychological, and that's why I also think that that part is also what makes it an interesting conversation for the femininity and masculinity concept, like this whole discussion of what.
Okay, so you believe that women that fight in the UFC are more masculine?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think.
So what about the women that go out to the nightclubs and put on pretty little dresses and look really fucking fire
very in touch with their femininity, and I think that men who go out and dress like men, right?
Well, how does a man dress?
Ooh, bro, you know how we dress?
How do we dress though?
With a shirt on, jacket on, dress shoes on, with our hair fucking slicked back, playboy. We don't have shoes. We don't have heels on in a dress.
I mean, technically, with dress shoes, you are wearing some type of heel, right?
Fair enough. I'll take that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, how is a man supposed to dress? Like, if I put on a suit, right? But I'm wearing a purple suit with a pink shirt on. Does that make me more feminine?
No,
because those are relatively, and nationwide known as women's colors, right? So does that make me more feminine?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm wearing a fucking purple. I'm wearing a purple jacket now as it is, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that, that's what it's good that we finally found something that we disagree on. You know what I mean? I don't think we've ever shared a podcast setting where we disagreed on something. But yeah, like I don't think, me personally, because before this week of being able to wear whatever we want, I literally have worn a suit for the last 3 weeks every single day to work. Mm-hmm. And I don't like, me personally, I don't wear a suit because I think it makes me look like a man. I wear a suit because I find it it's a professional thing to wear, and I dress for the job that I want. You know what I mean? If I want to be a lead and be in executive accounts and talk and make money the way that I want to make money, like, I believe that I should dress that way. I don't believe that I should dress that way just because I'm a man. You know what I mean? If I'm going out to a club, let's say I'm going to Vegas, right? And I wear a jacket and slacks and dress shoes and I look nice. It's not. I don't think I dress like that because I'm a man. I dress like that because I want to. It's the presentation, right? Like a lot of it's the reason why women wear makeup and dress the way they dress. It's because of the presentation. It's allowing them to, because first impressions are everything, right? So it's when you look and dress a certain way, it's allowing that first impression to be made visually, because that's the first thing that happens. Mm-hmm. So do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of, I don't think that there's anything that I do because I'm a man, except for the loving and caring side of things, and I talked to my mom about this, and I actually gave my mom a hard time. Is that, hold on, let me read these real quick.
Bro, I know you said you were going to stream at 9 your game.
Hold on, we could talk about this for a couple more minutes.
My guy. My fucking guy.
I just, if people are engaged and I want to talk about this. I actually gave my mom a hard time about this because, I feel like it's, ask this question and you both give answers. All right, I'll ask that in a second. Because me personally, I was raised with like chivalry, and I was taught that being polite was yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, excuse me, thank you, no thank you, things of that nature. So if there's a young lady, and I say young lady a lot, I say gentleman, I say young man, I say all that shit all the time. Like, I say it enough to where Peanut says it now. He's like, oh, look at that young lady, and I'm like, oh shit. And I actually had this young lady the other day. She was probably like mid 50s, late 50s. And I called her ma'am repeatedly. And she was like, don't call me ma'am. It makes me feel old. Yeah. And my response to that was, I apologize. My mother would kill me if she knew that I wasn't calling you ma'am.
Yeah.
So where was I getting with this? Hold on. Oh, I was giving my mom a hard time because I was like, the things that you taught. I talked about this when I got drunk and watched the video too, is that the things that we're taught as young men of our generation, because this generation coming up right now, let's be real, there's no respect or being what we view as being polite being taught now. And opening a door, carrying an extra handkerchief for a woman, walking on the right side of the road when you're walking down the street, things of that nature are dying slowly. And if you are the diamond in the rough that does those things, either one, it goes unnoticed, or you're a weirdo for doing it. Oh, you're only trying to get some ass, that's why you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no more out of the goodness of your heart anymore, and that really annoys the fuck out of me. But those are masculine things, in my opinion, especially the things that we're taught by our mothers on how to treat women. Those are masculine things. Absolutely. I think that mothers can do a good job at teaching their children on how to be their male children on how to be masculine, and those are the concepts that I believe make you masculine. Like, I disagree with you on the UFC fighter thing. I don't believe that women that fight in the UFC, I don't believe that they are more masculine than other women, because like I said, they could go out to the club and do the same fucking shit that the other women are doing and wear makeup and all that shit and be just as feminine. I don't believe it makes them more masculine. I think that fighters, since that was something that we were talking about, I think that that's more of a psychological thing, and they decide that that's what they want to do is be a fighter, or there's some type of trauma built up psychologically, and that's why they decide to do that shit.
See, now a UFC fighter is my favorite one, because just because she's 100 on her masculinity doesn't mean that she's not on 2,000 with her femininity. You know what I'm saying? Like Paige Van Zandt is one of the baddest fighters that there was, and she's beautiful. And dude, her Instagram go crazy, and her Twitter go crazy. Like, she is very inept with who she is as a woman, right? And that feminine side of her. And
I gotta ask you this.
Oh yeah.
If you break down and cry your heart out, expressing your feelings, is that masculine or feminine?
I'm going to say it's both, right? And it's a feminine act for a man. Now, hearing this from a woman, it's going to sound crazy as fuck, right? Like, if you're a woman hearing this, it's going to sound crazy as fuck. But for a man to reach out to another person, whether it's female or male, to reach out and speak on his feelings, his actual feelings, there's both going on in there, right? It's a feminine act for us to open up our feelings, right? It's a feminine act, right? But it's masculine as fuck, because we're saying, not only are we saying, hey, I need help, fam. Like, I need some help, and I'm reaching out to you right now. Like, and you're going to hear me out. Now, men acting out in that sadness can be acted out in a masculine way, right? What's a masculine way for somebody, right? What's the boys going to do? Go play ball. Go get some drinks, right? Where drinks can be a feminine thing, right? It's all in the acts of how these things are going. It's more here and here, right? When something like that is happening, instead of just what's happening right here. You know what I mean? Like, there's something going on in your head and going on in here that you're feeling, right? And what comes out here is what's coming out, or what's happening with all of this is what's going to determine if it's going to be on a more feminine side or a more masculine side. But both happening at the same time. It's both is happening at the exact same time.
Bro, you're staying on this hill and dying on it, bro. I love it. Hey, and we could both be wrong in the way that we view it. You know what I mean? Like, there could be a third person that hops into this conversation and is like, fuck both of you. You guys are both wrong. Like, this is what femininity is. This is what masculinity is. You know, but I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to go time out and use the restroom real quick, because I don't want to leave while I'm about to say what I'm about to say. But give me 2 seconds.
Well, I'm going to talk to everybody. What's cracking, everybody? Hey, don't kill the messenger, right? I'm just provide me with some information. I'll run with it, right? This is my boy, and I hope whoever's listening, if y'all can hear me, I hope y'all support my man. He's my man's. And y'all see why he's my man's. We could talk about anything literally and just go on and just go on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, there's some stuff that we don't agree on, and there's a lot of stuff we do agree on, and it always makes for good conversation. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys enjoy my man's. He spends a lot of time with y'all, and he spends a lot of time with y'all. Oh, my man Jordan, I love you, bro. I love you, man, and I hope you stay in good health. Because we are losing a lot of friends, champ. Stay good out there, Jordan.
All right, this is what I'll say about this situation. What's that?
My man Jordan is out here.
Oh, bro, I'm actually flying to New York in April to go meet up with Jordan.
My guy, my guy.
I finally get to meet him, bro. I'm so hyped, bro.
That's dope, dude.
I get to meet him and Kristen. Yeah, it's gonna be dope as fuck. Okay, so here's where I'll go with this one. Is it feminine? Is it more feminine or masculine? The question was like break down and cry, right? Let me read it verbatim. If you break down and cry your heart out expressing your feelings, is that masculine or feminine? Okay, I'll start with this. I've been seeing it more over the past 2 years where we talk about men's mental health, right? Mm-hmm. It's very big. It's been like a big concept and big discussion that people talk about, and I believe that it is important. Now, when the concept of I would say that not a lot of masculine men like to hear the fact that people think that they're feminine, right? Because they're opposite. Like nobody wants to hear that you're doing the opposite of what you think you are doing. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to hear that they're doing bad at something when they believe that they're doing great at something. You know what I mean? So when you hear the opposite of what you believe that you are, it tends to be a negative thing. And a lot of things that come up with men's mental health is that we're scared or we're told that it is feminine to talk about our feelings, and it makes us less of a man in order to do such things. Like that's the things that we hear, right? And that's why people are like, check out on your people, and women need to be more respectful when it comes to men talking about the things that they're going to talk about, this, that, the other, right? Mm-hmm. So me personally, I don't believe it makes you more masculine or more feminine to, cry your heart out. I think that it makes you more masculine when you understand that something's wrong, and that you ask for help. This concept of men not asking for help because they're too masculine and it makes them look weak when they ask for help. I hate that concept. Mm-hmm. Because with crying, with therapy, think about it, bro. You could have the most, quote unquote, the most masculine motherfucker, right? Big burly ass fucking dude eating tomahawk steaks like they're fucking lamb chops. Mm-hmm. But if he has a good woman next to him, he's gonna cuddle up in bed and fucking, rest his face on her chest, and that doesn't make him any less of a man. And I don't think crying makes you any less masculine. And I personally don't think it makes you more feminine, because like with that concept alone, that crying makes you more feminine, that's saying that crying or expressing your emotions is a feminine trait, like a woman's trait. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. And now we're taking over women's traits by expressing our feelings and crying. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't. I guess that kind of falls into the whole gender role conversation. Like that's just basically saying that a woman's role is to be emotional and cry, and that men can't do it, or else it makes them more like women.
Yeah.
But that goes under the concept that femininity means that women have it, and masculinity means that men have it. You know, like that's falling under the category that I believe in. But I mean, falling under the category that you're talking about is just saying that both men and women share both, and there's, it's the balance. But it doesn't matter what sex you are or what gender you are. Which is it? Sex? What sex you are? You have both, and they balance out. But you could have a woman that's more masculine than she is feminine. She still has femininity, but she's more masculine. And your concept behind that, or your analogy behind that, was tomboys. So what if we have something for women when they're more masculine and less feminine? called tomboys, but what do we have for men on the other scale?
That's the problem. Because the only word we've ever had is like pussy
Gay?
or bitch
Or
or
bitch?
weak. That's the one I'm like, oh, I'm not weak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, you motherfucker. Because
So why is it okay on one side of the spectrum but not on the other? Like in my belief, that's because that doesn't exist. I think it all comes down to a psychological standpoint, and that women or people like what they like, and they're gonna reflect and show what they like. I just don't. I just personally don't agree. I can't agree with that. But I just look at masculinity and being a father differently. We share a lot of the same views on being father, and you would, like I said, you and I would do the same exact thing for our kids. And the example of that was like dancing and singing in a crowd of people.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is going on is me being more masculine, and what you believe is going on is that you're allowing a feminine side to come out of you.
Mm-hmm. That's it. We just take two different, it's just the energies. Because everybody's going to and that's another thing, bro. Like about the whole fucking thing is somebody is going to take from a situation something different every fucking time, right?
And it goes back to psychological and trauma, whether it be positive or negative trauma. It's just your life experience, and it's like what goes behind that.
My guy.
Yeah, I mean, and that's huge, bro. That is. I mean, think about it like this, bro. When I was 19, when I was 18 or 19, was when I started realizing that what was happening to me was panic attacks. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking die. And I went to the heart doctor, and I found out that I have a heart condition, but they were like, you're healthy. Like, nothing's wrong with you. Go to therapy. And they'll tell, like, it sounds like what you're going through is a panic attack. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck a panic attack is. So I Googled panic attacks, and it was literally the same shit that was happening. And I was having like repeated panic attacks, sometimes 2 times a day, but they were like every single day. And I went to therapy, and I went to a therapist for a while, and I started taking drugs for it. But just the act of therapy alone made me feel amazing. And I learned at a young age that's like, okay, I didn't know what the fuck was going on with me. And I technically didn't ask for help, but the help that I was getting is like night and day. Like, it's beautiful. Look how much it's changed me. And, dealing with this stupid fucking psychological bullshit that I deal with, having panic disorder, like that goes hand in hand with what I'm saying. It's how you live psychologically and what traumas you've dealt with. And the fucked up thing, but the beautiful thing at the same time, I would say, is that my own brain has decided to put me through this trauma. And it's like, how at first I hated it, bro. I wanted to fucking put a bullet in my head. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if I'm going to feel like I'm going to die, well, this was like after getting addicted to prescription pills and then finally like being off of them, because it was the only thing that made me feel better. NyQuil made me feel better because it put me to sleep. Xanax made me feel better because I wouldn't have panics. Fucking drinking all the time made me feel better because it would take my panic away. But then I would wake up the next morning hungover, and it would start another fucking panic. And I was like, I'm gonna wind up being a fucking alcoholic if I do this shit. Like, if I continue on this fucking cycle, I'm gonna be alcoholic. But it's like a beautiful but fearful thing that my own brain, the chemicals in my brain just aren't enough, or they mix in a weird way that it's like, okay, bro, you're gonna fucking have a panic attack now, and all you can do is just fucking sit there and deal with it. And then I'm like, okay, well, am I really gonna die right now, or is this just another panic attack? And when will I ever know? But then it allows you to realize like how beautiful life is, and especially after having children, it's like, okay, now I really got to do everything in my life in my power in order to provide and do this thing. So, it's trauma and psychological shit that goes on, and that's it. And like I said, in my opinion, men carry masculinity and women can carry femininity. And, it's a negative thing for masculine men to hear that they're feminine, but I guess it's not too negative for women, feminine, to hear that they're masculine. It's just opposites. I don't know.
I think that's like a part of the whole. That's a part of the. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. It's a part of the LGBTQ
Oh,
thing.
here we go. Now we're getting into some shit that we gotta tread lightly, bro. We gotta be real fucking okay. I'm gonna if it gets to a point, I might just be like,
Okay, I'm gonna tread lightly because it's not often that I speak on this community, but
okay,
when I do, I tread lightly. My sister's lesbian, right? For
uh-huh.
example, and she's always had a little bit of like a tomboy factor to her.
You just did the whole like my friend's black thing.
Yeah, I did.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I did. But I just want to start off here. Let me start off here because, again, she's a mild, what I would have considered like a mild, like a mild tomboy. She was a girl. If you looked at
I
her,
really thought you were just about to say a mild lesbian. I was about to say, what the fuck is that?
she is not a gold star lesbian. She is not a gold star lesbian. Okay, she has had boyfriends, and then she started doing her girlfriend thing, which is fine, right? Whatever. I don't give a fuck. But if I looked at her at school, I would have said, "Oh, she's kind of a little tomboyish, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't know, she wasn't one of those girls who dressed up super girly, like right? So yes, feminine to me does have a lot of girl association to it, right?
Okay.
And so inside the LGBTQ community,
Mhm.
they do have men who are
Okay.
more feminine, if
Okay.
you ask me, right? If
Okay.
you're only if you ask, I would consider them extremely feminine men
Mhm.
on the heaviest side of the spectrum,
Okay.
and they're being taught to embrace this about themselves, which is fine. It is,
Okay.
but for a non-homosexual man, how they say it, a cisgendered non-homosexual man.
Don't do that. You're gonna hurt my head.
Is it okay for me to be okay with the parts of me that feel feminine, right?
See,
like,
I see. This is when you bring up the alphabet gang, like, and no, it's not funny. That's So my landlord, who he's married to a trans woman, that's what he calls it. So that's what like he's like that's what we were called, and so I'm like, okay, if I ever get slapped in the mouth for saying alphabet gang, I'm gonna say, hey, a cisgendered male told me that it was okay to say that. That's what you guys call themselves. But this is where the concept of masculinity and femininity really kind of get blurred, in my opinion, when we talk about the LGBTQ community, LGBTQ plus. I have to be politically correct. When we talk about this community, I think the lines get blurred, and only because I'm gonna fucking die on this hill. But again, it's a psychological thing, right? Like, especially for a trans person, male to female or female to male, it's really the concept of what goes on in their brain and what they believe, right? It's like if you're a male and believe that you're female, like how? I mean, politically, in if I was just a dickhead and spitting facts like I normally do in debates I have, I'd be like, no, that's a man. Like he's masculine. He's just trying to imitate feminine traits, right? Like you can't be feminine. But me as a person, knowing the people that I know, especially like my boy's wife and the conversations that I've had with him, and him and I get real deep when we talk about these concepts because we've been friends for 31 years and we know each other and we're very open. And we just had a debate the other day when we were moving, and like he's like, no, my wife is a woman. Like she was born a man, but everything about her is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like I feel like, again, it goes back to the psychological thing. If you believe that you are something, then you are. But it goes back to, again, what Jordan was asking. It's like, how do we define those things? How do you define femininity? How do you define masculinity? On one hand, on your hand, we have the definition of daintier, more soft-spoken, and masculinity is more ready to punch the fuck out of a motherfucker and get, fuck around and find out concept. And then like on my end, I think it's more nature over nurture, where it's, yes, us as men are the ones that are here to protect and really do what we need to do in order to provide for our families, and the women are more on the teaching side, not only for the kids, but for us as well. Women can teach us to be they say the concept is to get in touch with our feminine side, right?
Mm-hmm.
But our feminine side is really the women that we carry around us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just the way I view it. What is the actual need to define them versus saying what's understandable and acceptable for anyone? Well, I think that's all a matter of opinion, right? Like nobody can ever really define what it is to be a woman or a man, because we all view women and men differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is not one single textbook definition that is true, because it's all based on your views and your experiences.
For example, I've never looked at another man and wanted to procreate. Never.
I mean, I might have. Michael B. Jordan, bro. That man is no, but that's a good looking man. Let me tell you, bro.
Yeah, no, I won't lie. There's been some men I've looked at and like, damn, I wish I was born looking like you, dude. I'd be acting a fucking fool out here, dog. Like, who let you out the house, champ? Like, oh, dog. Like, if I was born built like Jason Momoa, I wouldn't know how to fucking act, bro. I'd be out here slanging dick like on the reg, bro. Like on the fucking reg, bro. I'd be out here slinging it. Like, dude, people couldn't fucking stop me, champ. Or like to be able to like look like fucking like Justin Bieber has been Canada's fucking poster boy for a decade, champ. Like, you know.
Yeah, but okay. Let's go based off this concept, right? You have Jason Momoa and Justin Bieber. Who's more masculine?
If you're going to say off of appearances alone,
I mean, that's what you were saying it's based off of earlier.
No. It's not based off of appearances. It's not even really based off the act. My whole thing is that it's two sides to the same coin, right? Which goes to like the question that they asked, which is like, what's even the whole point of defining it? It's just so we know what energy we're on, right? Like it's all the same thing. And like how you're saying, that's where I can see where you're coming from, because I've never looked at another man and said, I want to love this person, right? Where I've looked at a woman and said, I want to love this person.
Well, there's different concepts of love though, right?
Absolutely. Which even goes further to the point where everybody has their own concept of what this energy they're receiving at this moment, right? Like what somebody may take as someone who's being super, super masculine, right? It's like, to him, he's just like, well, I'm just being in my essence. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just doing what I've been taught to do.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean by like super masculine? Like, what does somebody have to do in order to be super masculine?
So like masculine things, bro, with like, and it sucks. It's just like all like, I guess like all old traditional male behaviors and activities, bro. Like, and that's something I will,
like smoking cigarettes and drinking whiskey and shit like that.
I wouldn't consider that like a masculine, but it does seem when you talk about like a cigar and whiskey, you would immediately associate that with men, right? Sure. You would immediately associate that with men, just like fighting, right?
But you know why, right? You know why that's associated with that, right? Because whiskey bars and beer bars and cigar shops were male only places. That's why we have that concept in our head.
See, and this is where it broke my brain. Is a masculine behavior a man going out and hunting, right? Take away society as it is today. Let's go base grassroots caveman.
Okay.
Is it more masculine for a man? Is it a masculine trait if somebody goes out and hunts, kills, butchers, and brings back to the family?
Is that a man thing?
Is it a masculine trait?
Oh, masculine trait?
Is that a masculine trait? I believe 100% that it is.
Yes, because that was the male's role then.
Now, there's tribes around the globe. There's tribes where women do that. The lionesses hunt. So, and with seahorses, they bear the children.
Sure, but I think that's okay. When you bring up the concept of lions, right? Lionesses do hunt, but so do the lions. Now, when it comes to lionesses hunting, it's a trade-off, right? You have the pride of the pack, which is the lion, the protector of all, right? If you take him off the front line, he can't protect all, right? Mm-hmm. So he has to have somebody next in line to do so for him. Mm-hmm. So who is he going to send out to do that? So that doesn't make him less masculine because the women are out hunting.
Not to make him less masculine.
But I don't think the lioness is being more masculine for going to hunt. That's just her role in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
See, personally. Now, I'm not gonna go into depth and deep and go crazy on this concept because I'll get canceled immediately. But when it comes to gender roles, I do believe that there are some gender roles. I don't believe in traditional gender roles, but I do believe that there are roles when it comes to gender, like especially in a household setting with a mother, a father, and children. Like I believe that there is those roles. Like and to not step into it too deep because Sly's over here pushing me and saying that I ain't down, but he wants me to join the blacklisted community, and I say it all in love, you know. Like I don't look down on anybody, and I don't believe that I'm better than anybody. But just for instance, okay, when it comes to building something, I believe that that is more of a male's role to do so. I believe that everything about a man is masculine. I don't think that there's anything that I could. I think that things. Me personally, I think that most of the things that you believe can make a man more feminine, in my opinion, makes them more masculine. Crying, nurturing.
Him doing something that may be deemed feminine, you just think he's stepping more into his masculinity.
Let me tell you like this. If I had a daughter and I let her paint my toenails and my nails in my hand and had a tea party with her, I think that would be masculine as fuck. You know why? Then let me tell you. Because you are understanding your sexuality, right? Like you're understanding that you are a man, and I'm man enough to be like, okay, I'm gonna let this little girl paint my toenails and my fingers. I'm man enough to be like, okay, I can do that. I don't think that makes me feminine at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that I'm a man. I know where I stand, and this little girl is gonna do everything, you know, that I'm gonna do everything this little girl asked me to do.
I can function with that.
You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to like building or lifting a couch and fucking vacuuming under it, like that is a man's role. Like that's what I'm here for, baby. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like and you know, it's funny because like if I go to Tierra's house, right, and she doesn't even have to ask me, and I'll take the trash cans out for her if I'm there on a Sunday night or something, and her trash comes on Monday. Like she don't even ask me to do that. But there's other things that, like, if I'm gonna go over there and see Peanut or something, she's like, oh, can you put this in the garage for me? And I'm like, oh, why? Because it's too heavy and you need a man to do it. You know, it's like if it's something that a woman would have a very, very difficult time doing, and it would take them, you know, it would take more strength to do so, I believe that we as men should be able to help them with that.
Yes.
I honestly believe that we as men have more roles, more quote unquote gender roles than women do. Like I think that we're expected to do a lot more, and I see nothing wrong with that. When you're the species of when the split species and you're the stronger, faster, you know, one stronger, like you should be asked to do more things.
Mm-hmm. I think, and yeah, I think, to me, yeah, there's just always going to be a gender role. I don't care what it is or how it is at the time. There will always be roles that men play. There will always be a role that women play. And that's just how it is. Like, that was my whole thing at the end of the day with, like, well, women, you know, these women hunters in these tribes, like, sure, whatever, you know what I mean, the lioness, whatever, yeah, she's stepping into her role, but that's just what it is. Like, we just got gender roles at the end of the day, fam. Like,
it's I mean, in every species that there is, every species that exists on this green earth, there is roles between male and female.
Every time.
And like I said, I'm not saying, hey, go make me a fucking sandwich and go clean the dishes. You know, like that's not what I'm saying.
Change
Again,
my
yeah, you know, like go clean my fucking drawers and shit. Like that's not what I'm saying. Again, it comes down to, and I'm gonna keep reverting back to this. It comes down to the concept of nature versus nurture. Like that is where the roles exist. And you can't tell me that I'm wrong with the nature versus nurture concept. Not saying that men can't nurture or men or women can't play the nature role of that, but nature versus nurture is a scientific thing that has been studied. Like that is it is what it is. And like I think that if we go back to the role thing and go back to what masculine and feminine is, like I think people will start to honestly understand that that's genuinely what it is, and it's not wrong to think that way. Now, fucking Sly. But it's all we'll revert back to the beginning of the conversation where it comes down to communication and honestly like knowing who it is that you're talking to. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like if you know who you're talking to and you can be open and have conversations about that, and even if you live with somebody and you can set those roles in the house on who does what, and it doesn't even have to be a gender thing. It could be like a partner thing. You know, if it's 2 males, 2 females, a man and a female, a trans woman and a male, like it just depends. It just comes down to communication and how you guys talk to each other. And like within communication has to be the love, right? Like you said, and like we always say, it's all about love. Everything that we do has to be, done with love and compassion. And I'm not talking about the kissy lovey dovey hug and love like that, but if you really just genuinely care for people in your heart, then we wouldn't have to tread lightly when we talk about situations like that. Unfortunately, we are on the internet, so people could take what we're saying out of context. And Damien earlier in my chat said, it kind of sucks that we have to have these conversations and kind of give disclaimers. And if people really knew who we were and how we viewed things, and that it wasn't out of a place of hate, then we wouldn't have to do those disclaimers. But again, we're on the internet. People can take things a certain way.
Listen, I don't give a fuck. This is my show, bro. Like, this is my podcast, fam. That's your stream. And then you don't have to watch, champ. I would love for you to stay. I would love for you to have these conversations with us, right? Like, because please let me, like, even for you, right? Like, even for you, like, hearing your perspective gives me the space to say, let me think about that, right? Like, let me go home and chew on that for a second, right?
We just spent the last hour disagreeing on this whole thing.
Yeah, and this whole thing is just all out of fucking curiosity, bro. Like, so for me is
I don't even know how we started this conversation.
I don't even fucking know, dude. That's why I love our talks, bro, because we just get on one and then it's like, hold on, hold the fucking phone, dude. What'd you just say? Like, run that by me one more time. Like, hold on, run that by me one more again. And then, just go back and fucking forth. And these are the conversations that are important to our fucking society. I feel.
Well, our communities, right? Like you're the community of people that you have around you, the community of people that I have around me, and even the community that watches, like, and I would say this, like, I have a very solid community. My community has fluctuated so much within the jails, or I mean within the jails. I'm reading chat. Within the different games that I've had, but the core community has always been here. And I don't think they really get offended by what I say or how I say it, because they already know how I am. You know what I mean? And I'll never say anything to personally attack anybody or cause harm or want to hurt somebody's feelings or anything like that. And they know that. So, and then they can tell when I'm playing, when I'm not playing. But yeah.
And again, all curiosity. We're all here, just good jokes, good fun, and so to me, bro, like, I hope if anybody ever watches this and gets offended, I hope you replay the part that pissed you off and put that bitch on loop, okay? Because that's where you need to start. And message me what you saw, whoever it is. You message me what you saw that pissed you the fuck off, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, I would, if anybody, like, if I know that there's people that listen to your podcast, like, because I know you're on every fucking everything that you can get a fucking podcast on. check fucking this man out on Apple Podcast, on Spotify Podcast, on fucking I don't even remember what the other two are that you're on, but yeah, like if anybody ever listened to this conversation or got this far and disagreed with anything that either one of us said, I would love to bring somebody else in and have a three-way.
Fuck yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Conversation.
And I think that, I don't know. And I think that it's definitely good because we've talked about it so many different times is people need to be able to have conversations that are uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Ones that
understand that it's okay to disagree.
It's okay. Like
I've lost a lot of friends because people don't know how to disagree, man.
And bro, it's like as we progress forward, right? And thank God, because it's something I really look towards a lot nowadays, like with masonry. Like, you know what I mean? Like being able to meet all these guys and meet.
Oh yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, Corpse is actually a Freemason.
Yes,
he's part of the Brotherhood.
Part of the Brotherhood. Just got my second degree.
Congrats, bro. Actually, I saw the picture on Instagram and I meant to tell you, but I knew that we were going to be talking soon. So,
yeah, man. Thank you, dude. But it teaches me to stay curious. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of different men that come past, and some of them are old, some of them are young, and it's like, let me talk, like, bro, like let's. Because I do a podcast, bro, so I like to just fucking talk to people. Like, let me ask you a couple questions, bro. Let me see where you're coming from. And doesn't mean I gotta agree with you. Some of it's profound, and just because we're brothers, don't mean I need to agree with you, right? Just like yourself, my dog. Like, we're not always going to agree on everything, but I'm going to hear you out. I'm going to go home and chew on it, and I'm going to take what I want from what I heard, and then leave the rest. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like people should do that more often. You know what I mean? Not to kind of be like don't be a kite flyer, and just go where the wind blows. Have your core beliefs, man.
That is the whole concept of this generation that's coming up in the world right now, and that's why we are where we are in this world, because there is a lot of kite flyers and there is a lot of people that go with the wind, and there is a lot of people that are scared to have rough conversations and disagree with each other, and they just want to go on with the next thing of the majority, the sheep, right? Like the concept of sheep, and we're the wolves now. And it's kind of a weird thing to see because, we were the sheep growing up, and then the generation above us were the wolves. And now it's like I'm kind of seeing the flow of things and the rhythm in which it goes in. So it's very interesting. Now, I do have Damien asking to talk about Freemasonry. He doesn't know what Freemasonry is. And I do want to play this game. So can you, in a very short tense, explain what it is that you do and how, with the degree that you just got, and just kind of help him understand the concept of Freemasonry before we hop off this podcast?
Okay. So feel free, Damien, if you want to hit me up on Instagram or on Twitter, bro, Facebook, they all got me.
Make sure you get some merch. He's got hella merch.
I want to say something about that too, bro. Thank you for rocking the shirt, man.
Oh, bro, my closet is full of different merch that I have from you. I've got the fucking corpse hat. Oh, I've got a corpse hat sitting right here on my stream room.
My guy. On, but for my man Damien, dude, Freemasonry is a fraternity of men, right? Obviously, it's a fraternity of men, and we hang out. We meet up and hang out. Right, there's certain orders of business that we take care of for like fundraisers, man. We do fundraisers, we do car shows, we do barbecues, we do a lot of different stuff for the city and for the community, wherever our lodges are, right? We are very active.
Can you just kind of give them a little insight on the secrecy of kind of what goes on in meetings? Like, not say what goes on in meetings, but just kind of the concept that it is a more in tune, secret-ish society. Only brothers can understand what goes on in lodges and things of that nature.
So now, I will say this, is that Freemasonry is not a secret society, but we are an initiative society, right? So there is an initiation process before you're allowed to go behind certain doors, right? Behind said certain doors, there's going to be ceremonies and these rituals that you go through and that you partake in, right? in essence, there's shit you learn that you all do as a group, right? And you dress up these nights. You're dressed to fucking impress, and you go do these things. And usually, there's other guys coming and hanging out. There's other guys coming and come participate and partake, right? What happens during these ceremonies, what actually goes on, can't tell you. I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, but all the shit you can find on Google, right? How much of it is true? Come by and see, right? So you have that part, and then you also have the business aspect. So you have the traditional old school, like this is what we're doing tonight. There's going to be certain people doing this and certain this doing that and that over here and this over there. That part is one thing. And then you also have the part of the business aspect, right? Now, that's what happens at Lodge. Some of the things that you're learning during all of this is either very esoteric or exoteric, right? So you're either learning something about like your mind. Hold on, give me a second. Something very either esoteric. Where was I? Oh yeah, very esoteric or exoteric, right? So something dealing with like the spiritual aspect, or like I don't know how else to really explain esoteric, like more inner work, right? And then there's exoterics, things that you take that are more tangible, more like more physical, right? So people know about all these different signs and symbols and stuff in Freemasonry, right? Like the square and compass is the most popular, right? But what it means to you may be different than what it means to me. Okay. And that's a part of Freemasonry that I enjoy, is that people take from it, all take different things from it.
So Damien says that if you're down to talk on his stream, he would love to talk more and find out more about Freemasonry and things of that nature. So I would be banned if I joined this podcast with some alcohol facts. Damien is actually one of my coworkers, and he's one of my colleagues. So what I'll do is tomorrow when I see him, I'll have him follow you on Instagram and reach out to you. And that would be dope. I would love to see you guys have a conversation about, just kind of the concepts of masonry and things of that nature, which is super awesome because for those of you guys that don't know, Hutch and I have known each other for 7 years now.
Since 2015.
Yeah, 2015. So what is that? 8 years now. So we've known each other for 8 years. We actually, a long time ago, we talked about Freemasonry and becoming Masons, and Hutch actually took the step and became a Mason. And it's fucking amazing. Like it's dope. It's dope as fuck.
Yeah, man, and making my way on up through the upper echelons, dude, of Freemasonry. Just trying to do my thing, dude. You know how it goes.
I sure do. All right, bro. Is there anything that you want to say to my people before I say things to your people and we cut this?
Man, dude, we said an hour, bro, and we did 2, dog.
I know. I was looking at the time and I was like, well, we were just in the muck. We were in there, bro, and it was cool because I wanted to show people that you could have a disagreement and not be yelling at each other and not like fucking, just being dickheads to each other. So that's why I continued on. I was like, you know what? I have this game that I've been wanting to play, but I can always get to the game. You know what I mean? It's the time that we spend with each other that's more important, in my opinion.
My guy. So yeah, dude, to everybody who tuned in though on your stream, man, love you guys. Keep supporting my bro, please. Like I was saying to dude when you're on a piss break, but keep supporting my man, dude. Like keep supporting him, please. Like he's put a lot of effort and a lot of time, and I know when he does something, he's going to do it and do it to the best of his capabilities. And so thank you guys for supporting him. It means more than y'all know. I know that, And I know it still means more than I know. So if I know it, y'all should need to know it and know that it's more than what we think. So just keep riding with my mans, yo. Keep riding with my mans. Thank y'all.
Yeah, and make sure this is my brother to the death right here. I'm always rock him. I always rock with everything that he fucking does. Thank you, Jordan, for doing that. Make sure you guys follow his YouTube. You guys can look up Corpse Collection on any social media platform. Make sure you guys follow him. This dude is one of the. This man says that I put my mind to things and I do it the best of my ability. This man has a child. He's one of the best fathers I know. This man, we danced together in Crump, and he is now one of the dopest crumpers I've ever seen in my life, and still to this day is grinding with the big heads. I mean, keep fucking grinding. This man was, in my opinion, rookie of the year when it came down to Crump. He's dancing under one of the greatest fucking crumpers to ever live. And everything that he does is amazing. His fucking clothing line is amazing. If you guys don't know, the name of this podcast is The Smoking Section, so make sure you guys look up The Smoking Section on any platform that you can find a podcast and listen to this man. He always has great guests, whether it's dancers, whether it's people like myself, other entrepreneurs and things of that nature. So make sure you guys check him out and follow him, and just understand that your stream and my stream, we're gonna see each other again, bro. So
absolutely,
make sure you guys stay tuned for what's coming with this man. And I love you, brother. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for having this conversation with me. And it's always interesting to be able to chat with you, bro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for allowing me to come onto your platform and speak my piece and have this conversation with you. I really appreciate it.
Love you, brother. You know it, man.
All right, Papi. I love you, bro. I'll hit you up. Let me know if you need anything, all right?
All right, my G.
All right, Papa. Take care.